Let's change gear into the fashion industry where Africa is evolving into a high-value, export-ready sector driven by innovation, cultural capital, and rising global demand for authenticity. Now, beyond bold aesthetics, a new generation of designers is building brands rooted in heritage, craftsmanship, and commercially viable designs. By blending traditional techniques with modern silhouettes and streetwear appeal, African labels are not only shaping local consumer markets, but also attracting international buyers, investors, and retailers. And that's where we've got Olajire. Omikunle, welcome our guest, who is the founder and creative director of Magnum Man, joining me on the show this Friday. Good to have you this morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you. I've all heard it somewhere before that most of the beautiful things that women wear are made by men, are designed by men. Why is that so? International brands, mention them in cosmetics and whatever. Well, why is this attraction that men made more of women things?
Well,
those beautiful things.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be gender specific, to be honest. But men, to be honest, in this angle, men in the fashion industry,
yes,
you know, they go out of their way to get things done. They're a bit more creative, you know. But there's a good balance. There's a very, very good balance. And in today's age, we have found that men and women are getting things done, well done in the fashion industry.
Fashion brands, locally and internationally. What you folks are breaking barriers,
yes,
and that was the handshake, first handshake for, because I really love what I see. And I want to see more of African fashion making huge inroads across the world. So how are you overcoming the barriers?
Thank you very much. One of the challenges that we have in Nigeria, first of all, is capital, right? Capital, being able to scale your business. You know, you've set up a structure, you have products that there's a huge demand locally and globally, right? The market doesn't create the availability of funds for you to be able to grow, whether for the manufacturing, whether for the infrastructure, whether for the raw materials to be able to scale business. That's one of the challenges. The second is availability of raw materials. There are no raw materials locally, so we have to go outside Nigeria, China, Turkey, Europe to be able to bring in fabrics and raw materials in to be able to produce. But without that, that has helped us, you know, to become more hardworking, and then we're focused on our local materials to be able to use to create the products that we're making.
You talk about funding and funding.
Yes.
Don't we have the banks? The Bank of Industry, for example,
yes,
supporting entertainment, and they seem to be doing a whole lot.
Yes.
With what I see on the street and what I see folks wear, yes, and the kind of designs and the amount some of you designers charge these days, some of you even produce for exports and earn in pound sterling. I'm sure you've earned some of that in dollars as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so you can't be complaining about money.
No, but the truth is you still need capital to be able to grow. If there's a demand, there's a continuous increased demand. If there's no capital to grow for that demand, then
the bank should give you the money.
Yes,
if you show them
the
your
local banks, the reality
yes,
is the local banks that we have them on, they focus they focus only on their primary target, which is oil and gas, construction, real estate, and all those, and banking, right? But they are not focusing on fashion. And I use this platform to advise, like one of the easiest products to be able to scale is fashion, because there's a huge demand globally, not just in Africa. You know, there's a huge demand for African products right now globally. So the bank should be able to tap into this opportunity. But the challenges that fashion brands have is they lack the financial structure to be able to receive funding from the bank, right? And that doesn't allow us to be able to receive
Magnum Man.
Yes.
That's how you branded, and I'm going to charge you for wearing that cap. If I'm wearing that cap into my studios this morning, I'm just sending a note to the marketing department to charge you for that. But you should make money. There's one of the Nigerian banks, and I don't want to mention names, but that has its own annual fashion show. You should. Do you have an account there? Have you approached them?
Are we mentioning the bank's name or Notwithstanding, I'm not going to say there are no banks that have supported us. What I'm just asking for is for more support. I'm just not speaking for myself here. It's an entire industry, right? I'm saying that we have been fortunate enough to be able to get where we are right now. We have done 2 pop-ups we have done 1 pop-up this year already in Paris during the Paris Fashion Week. We have one coming up in New York. And the truth is, there's a demand for us, whether in Africa and globally. So we are doing okay. But for the industry, and I see the opportunity that is available for the industry to be able to grow and scale, I don't feel like my colleagues in the industry are getting the same opportunities.
The global demand for authenticity and origin stories creating new market opportunities. Are they creating opportunities? It looks like out there, the demand, whether they're black or white, whatever color, the demand is high for Africa, anything that comes out of Africa, as far as fashion is concerned.
So the good thing right now is Africa to start with. Everything has to do with Africa, there's a story to it. Just being a Yoruba person alone, you have what they call Oriki, right? You can actually build a brand from just your Oriki. My name is Adigun, for example, as my Oriki. I can actually build a brand and sell a story around that. We have fabrics. We have fabrics.
If I take that off you, don't charge me for don't sue me for copyright.
We have Ashoki, for example. There's a long lineage of Ashoki being produced in Iseyin, being produced in Ondo, being produced in Ilorin, in Kwara, right? And that's just in Ekiti. That's just Nigeria, for example. Then you go to Mali, you have mud fabric that has 1,000 years of stories, you know. So by the time
you go to Kano, for example.
And you go to Kano, exactly.
And
Zaria. So like by the time you bring all this together, anybody that is willing to pay for value wants to pay for something that has story, that wants to pay for something that has a background. And that is what Africa is based off of. So now the world has now seen that these people actually have an identity where they're coming from. And that's why there's now more demand for our fashion, for our art, for our music. You see our guys are going global already. So the next thing that's about to blow is fashion. You know.
So, how critical is manufacturing, infrastructure, supply chain, development to the growth of the fashion industry across Africa? I'm happy with some of the things I'm hearing out of Togo and Benin Republic, how they do with textile as well. Do you think that will also help us in Nigeria, getting the textile industry back to support what you're doing?
1,000%. For example, I go to China, for example, at least minimum of 3 times a year, you know, because we are sourcing this raw material, we're sourcing this accessory, we're sourcing that, you know, and one of the things, the challenges we have most in Nigeria is raw materials. If we can have access to fabrics, right, and, you know, in Nigeria locally, it will help us scale, it will help us with our manufacturing, it will help us with our products, and it will keep that sustainability on check. But without that, we cannot be able to grow.
Very interesting. Okay, whether you go to Paris or London, wherever you're going, keep flying the flag of Nigeria and of Africa. Thank you so much for what you folks are doing out there. I'm proud when I see these international organizations and locations inviting African and Nigerian fashion to showcase.
I've made it my own personal objective to be able to fly our heritage, our culture to the world, right? Whether it's clothing, I've used clothing as this opportunity to be able to take these clothes outside Nigeria, and so that just the same way we have Chinese restaurants all over the world without Chinese people there, why can't we have African influenced clothes all over the world? And I think Magnum Man is here to do
Next time you're going to appear on this show, you got to have a Magnum cap made from Ashofi. Okay.
No problem. That take it on me.
I'm going to ask my colleague.
That's actually one of our designs.
The anchor
already.
of this show. You have it already.
That's one of our designs.
I'm going to ask her.
That's one of our designs.
Rotus to take
That's
you up
one
on
of our
that.
designs. 100%.
And our producer. Thank you. Made from Ashofi.
100%. It's one of our designs.
I like to wear one.
Thank you very much. I'm going to send one to you. Don't worry. You have
Thank you.
To worry
I can put it on this bald head.
No, definitely.
Have a great weekend, my friend.
You too, my friend.
Enjoy yourself.